Spring's fatal shooting of Breonna Taylor sparked protests all around the country.
Her death also brought attention to the use of no-knock warrants. Cincinnati City Council is close to asking to ban such warrants. Local 12's James Pilcher got both sides.
In the case of the no-knock warrant served on the home of Breonna Taylor, police knocked, according to witnesses, and at least one witness says he heard them announce themselves. But it brought the topic of no-knock warrants to the forefront nationally. In Louisville, they were banned, and the Kentucky General Assembly will consider banning them in January. Tomorrow, Cincinnati City Council takes up its own possible no-knock ban. Councilmember Chris Seelbach proposed a non-binding motion that would ask the city manager to ban the practice. He says Cincinnati police used no-knock warrants at least a dozen times in the last year, but that they are a danger to civilians and police alike. A legal ban would take an amendment to the city charter needing voter approval. Cincinnati is the first major city in Ohio to take up the issue.
For the safety of all of those people, that it's not a tool that should be used in the Cincinnati Police Department.
No-knock bans have opponents, especially among law enforcement. Cincinnati Police Chief Elliot Isaac declined an interview in advance of tomorrow's hearing. But he's on the record opposing them, saying such warrants are needed in cases where suspects could be heavily armed. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost also opposes a ban, saying warrants are needed to protect police and civilians. But Yost told me he thinks the use of no-knock warrants should be curtailed.
I think what makes sense is to make sure that we're only using them where there's a verifiable threat to safety, and to limit it to the cases that make the most difference. To give you a quick example, I don't think that we should be using no-knock warrants ever for misdemeanor drug possession cases, and yet that happens sometimes.
Mayor John Cranley also declined interviews. Cranley's spokesperson says he's in agreement with Chief Isaac, but Seelbach says Cranley is in favor of the new motion. James Pilcher, Local 12 News.
Council's Law Committee takes up the motion tomorrow morning. The full council expected to hear it on Wednesday.